people's veto and all the plans that have been put forward so far, including the one that passed today at the MBTA board meeting. The other is a people's plan for a more sustainable transportation plan for the entire state of Massachusetts. We want to ask as many people as possible to participate in this discussion. I'm going to be kind of keeping track of who wants to speak. I've got my voice louder? Okay, I can do this a bit louder. Come see me if you want to speak. We have a series of people who've been invited to come speak. And if you're here from the Postal Workers Union, the Amalgamated Transit Union, or the Mass Nurses Association, I know you're out there, come see me and check in. And with that, I actually, do you want to? Part of this is that not just something that's happening in Massachusetts, but across the entire country, and Ariel has a message to share about what the state means beyond us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the People's Assembly. We are here because just moments ago, the MassDOT board approved the MBTA's budget with devastating fare increases. This will disproportionately affect seniors, the disabled, students, and low-income communities that are already marginalized, and this will further isolate them.
That is correct.
Over the past several months, thousands of people have attended the MBTA public hearings to deliver a very simple message. No hikes, no cuts, no layoffs. But today's vote shows that those hearings were just for show. So that's why we have to have our own people's hearing to deliver a people's veto to the budget and develop our own people's plan for public transportation. And as Ann said, it's not just in Boston that public transit is under attack. That's why Occupy Boston put out a call for a national day of action today on April 4th. And over 25 cities across the nation heard our call and responded. From Portland to Pittsburgh, from Denver to Detroit and Seattle to St. Paul, we are standing up together today to say, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, today, on April 4th, 2012,
on April 4th, 2012,
we have come together
to
demand public transportation for the 99%.
To demand public transportation for the 99%.
The economy has been destroyed.
The economy has been destroyed
By Wall Street greed.
by Wall Street greed
And endless wars.
and endless wars.
At the time when it is needed the most,
At a time when it's needed the most,
public transit is under attack.
public transit is under attack,
Facing cuts in services.
facing cuts in services,
Fare hikes.
fare hikes,
And worker layoffs.
and worker layoffs.
Americans are struggling.
Americans are struggling.
Oil prices continue to climb.
Oil prices continue to climb.
Our environment is being degraded.
Our environment is being degraded,
And climate change wreaks havoc.
and climate change wreaks havoc.
In the jobless recovery,
In the jobless recovery,
unemployment remains high,
unemployment remains high,
especially among communities of color and youth.
communities of color and youth.
Ridership is reaching record highs.
Ridership is reaching record highs.
And all over the nation,
And all over the nation,
our public infrastructure
our public infrastructure
is being undermined.
is being undermined.
There are millions to pay
There are millions to pay
to Wall Street banks
to Wall Street banks
for interest rate swaps.
for interest rate swaps.
When the interest rates are rigged
When the interest rates are rigged
by bankers and their servants
by bankers and their servants
in the Capitol.
in the Capitol.
Martin Luther King Jr. said
Martin Luther King Jr. said
45 years ago today
45 years ago today
that war is an enemy of the poor
that war is an enemy of the poor
and should be attacked as such.
and should be attacked as such.
However, there seems to be millions for war,
There seems to be millions for war,
of occupation and empire
of occupation and empire
in Afghanistan,
in Afghanistan, to prosper.
Military dictatorships.
Military dictatorships.
In Egypt.
Egypt.
And around the world.
And around the world.
Across the nation we have been told.
Across the nation we have been told.
That there's no money for transit.
That there is no money for transit.
The banks and bloated Pentagon budget.
The banks and bloated Pentagon budget.
Should be the first cut.
Should be the first cut.
Not the most vulnerable.
Not the most vulnerable.
Today we have come together.
Today we have
Some
come
of the many
together.
groups that have been working on this for many years before this fare hike and tax, or fare hike and service cut issue has been groups like Mass Uniting. And I know we have a speaker here from Mass Uniting. Who is that?
Hi.
Come on out. Who's team? Our team. Who's team? Our team. Who's team? Our team.
Right, listen. Public transportation in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is a problem. The proposed budget in scenario 3 that the MBTA is now presenting does not work in the interest of the 99%. That's right. And so there are several ways that the MBTA can actually resolve this issue. Okay? Big debt can come back to the proper hands. You know, we've got a whole particular scenario that includes the interest rate swaps that the MBTA has entered into with banks like Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan Chase. You know, these are the bad guys, right? And so the Fast Five has gone to the board meeting and has presented solutions, and solutions have been presented with regards to the interest rate swaps. But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like the MBTA wants to hear the 99%. But the bottom line core principle that we want to keep in mind, just like everything else, every point of history that we've made in this Commonwealth, is that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And so I ask you to stand with us as we continue to put the pressure on the MBTA and the Commonwealth to go back to these big banks, go back to these corporations, and put this debt, let's redirect the deficit in the hands of where it actually belongs.
And service cuts. But one of the things that we've been saying all along is no layoffs. They don't talk publicly about the jobs that have already been lost. They don't talk publicly about how they're trying to make this more efficient by actually getting rid of workers instead of getting more workers to work on our trains and our buses and to run them. We are very excited today to have a representative from the Amalgamated Transit Union International. James McDougall, right? Steve McDougall.
Yes, First of all, on behalf of International President Larry Hanley, I cannot thank this coalition of communities, of working people, of poor people, of young people, of old people, of all backgrounds, of all races. We even welcome the 1% to ride public transit. But what I will say is this. Public transit has been attacked with deliberate underfunding for so many years, and there are so many smart people here today who look through that mystery that's been created and have finally called to say it's time to fund transit now. Fund transit now. Fund transit now. Fund transit now. Transit jobs, public transit jobs, are green jobs. They're good jobs. They bring the working class to their jobs. They create jobs. The issues specifically to the MBTA. And listen, we cannot forget, the regional transit authorities in Massachusetts should not be our red-headed stepchild. They have to be part of the conversation, up front and out front. And to any red-headed stepchildren, I apologize. It's not intended to be a derogatory statement, just a term of art. But I mean it. The regional transit authorities help so many in the depressed areas like Springfield and Brockton and in Worcester and all over, down in New Bedford and Fall River. The truth of the matter is, if all the poor people who are impacted by the cuts in transit, by the deliberate underfunding of transit, could be here, we would pack this State House in the Boston Common, in the Public Garden, and all the way down. Our mission must stay focused in a coalition so diverse on those things we agree on. Our strategy is the same. Our tactics may vary, but our mission in our fight must not end. Thank you.
Of the American Postal Workers Union.
Brothers and sisters, my name is Paul Kilduff. I'm the president of the American Postal Workers Union here in Boston. Thank you. I represent 2,200 sisters and brothers who are in a battle right now as we speak to save their jobs. I can't believe we must come together on April 4th, 2012 to let our voices be heard, to fight for something that is our right. Public transportation is a right for all Americans. The community post office is a right for all Americans. Now our rights as Americans are once again under attack by these rich bastards or the 1%. The Postal Service made money, but yet we are told the Postal Service is broke. They want to close 22 post offices in Boston and 3,700 throughout the country. The Postmaster General, who I might add, is a puppet to the Republican Party, wants to lay off 200,000 employees, starting with the most senior. Every one of these post offices, 22 post offices, makes a profit of $100,000 to $300,000. Someone uses the post office because there's a line in it every single day, all day long. The post office does not need a buyout. And the post office does not take one tax dollar from anyone. Now with these closings, many people in the area will be hurt. There are many without internet service, many without bank accounts that rely on the post office to cash their checks and to purchase money orders to pay their bills. Many post offices slated to close are in poor communities, where many communities do not own a car. They must use the MBTA as their mode of transportation throughout the city. Many are elderly, on a fixed income, that can barely afford to pay for the fare in the MBTA. Students who pay high tuition will also be greatly affected. These are the same people being told by the post office, if your post office closes, to take a bus to another post office to mail your packages or cash your checks. To add insult to injury, these same people are on a fixed income and now will have to pay more for bus service, even though they can't afford it right now as we speak. The spokesperson for the MBTA states that 1 year from now, fares will be increased once again. Jobs are scarce and people are hurting, but yet again, we are the ones that have to suffer. The rich get richer and laugh all the way to the bank. Every day our grandparents struggle just to eat, to make ends meet. It's like these rich bastards sit into a room and say, how can we make people suffer more? How can we take money out of pockets that are already empty? It makes me sick that these same people that make these decisions are in mansions right now and sending their children to the best schools across the country. Yeah. They are rich because they are robbing all of us blind. Well, I say enough is enough. We must keep this movement alive. All of us in this room should be angry and tell any politician, you are either for us or against us. If you're not for us, get the hell out of the way. The American Postal Workers Union stands here united with all our brothers and sisters. We will be here to fight. We will be here also to fight against what is wrong. The governor, he should take a look at what is wrong with the MBTA. Don't raise fare and cut service. Fire the ones that are responsible for this mismanagement. Look at ways to provide better service to the public. If they continue to raise fares, they will lose money in the end. Don't they get it? People who won't be able to afford to take the tea, they won't take it ever again. Again, the Postal Service, like the MBTA, this is just a first step in dismantling both the MBTA and the Postal Service, and to eventually privatize both. Don't be fooled. This is their plan. I say, take that plan and stuff it where the sun don't shine. Let your voices be heard today. The 1% needs to hear you loud and clear. Let me hear you. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. We will never go away. Enough is enough. Thank you.